This is the Adjutant. Let me tell you something. There are moments in life where everything changes. You don't realize it at the time, but you never forget it. For me, that moment was my first day in the United States Army. All right, come on in, pull up a chair, and let me tell you a story. Now, before that day ever came, there was a decision, a real decision, not something casual, not something you just try out, but a commitment. I had made up my mind I was joining the Army. And a lot of people, I thought I understood what that meant. I thought I was prepared. But understanding something in your mind and experience in life are two completely different things. Now, I remember the journey. Let's talk about the trip, the travel, the quiet moments. All of those things helped start the beginning of my military career. That feeling in your chest where you're excited, but there's something else there too, something you can't quite name yet, something that is peculiar. You're leaving behind everything familiar, your routine, your environment, your comfort, and you're stepping into something unknown. Now, then you arrive, bags in hand, you look all around, and immediately you can feel it. This is different. There is structure. This is control. This is not your world anymore. And then the moment. Let's talk about this moment right now. The bus. Everyone talks about it, but nobody really explains it. You're sitting there, you're quiet, nobody really saying much, but you can feel it. You feel the tension, if you will, the anticipation. Then the doors open and everything changes at that moment. The yelling, the movement, the commands, all of those things, the confusion. Get off the bus, move, hurry up. And you're trying to process it, but there's just no time. Now, what I wasn't ready for, let me tell you what I wasn't ready for. I wasn't ready for the speed. Everything happens fast. No hesitation, no delay. I wasn't ready for the loss of control. You don't decide what happens next. You respond. I wasn't ready for the pressure, the intensity, the expectation. And most of all, I wasn't ready for how quickly everything familiar disappeared. Now, let me ask you something. If you served, what was the first day like? Drop it below. And if you haven't, what do you think it's going to be like? Go ahead. I'd like to see those and read those comments. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of other people. Now, here's what I understand now that I didn't understand then, and that was the first day. It's not random. It's not chaos for no reason. It's intentional. They are stripping away the old version of you, the habits, the comfort, the mindset, so they can build something stronger. Because the truth is, you don't grow in comfort. You grow in pressure. You grow in challenge. You grow when you're pushed beyond what you thought you could handle. And let me tell you something, folks. The military service is something that is scary. You could be scared for a particular period of time. You could be nervous. But I remember when I joined the military in South Carolina, and I went to Fort McClellan, Alabama for my basic training. And I'll tell you, that was just a very unique experience. You don't know what's going to happen. You're nervous, as I stated before, you're scared. You're in an environment that are filled with people from all walks of life. I served with people from the hills of West Virginia to New York City to folks that were immigrants from other nationalities. I don't know if you are familiar with this, but you can serve in the military and not be a U.S. citizen. In fact, there are pathways to citizenship through service in the military. And there are people from Kenya that serve in the military. There are people from other parts of Africa and Jamaica and just all around the world. And when you're put in an environment like that with people from all walks of life, all nationalities, all races and beliefs, spiritual beliefs, and Wiccans and Christians and Hebrews and Jewish and Muslims, you're in an environment that you're going to learn to adapt very quickly. And as a side note, your military experience is going to open you up to worlds and ideals and thoughts that you never thought that you could ever experience. And that is something that I found that was very beneficial through my first days in the military. I also recall going and picking up my clothing, and that was a whole experience where everything is organized. You go from one station, you'll get your shoes. You'll go to another station, you get your socks. You go to another station, you'll get your pants and your shirts and your coats, and then you get all of your equipment, the initial issue. That is a whole experience. And of course, you're going to be immunized for those things that you need immunizations for. And then, you're going to be sized for other things, your Class A uniforms. So those are all the experience that one should expect to experience through their first days in the military. And then, of course, there is experiencing eating in the cafeteria. There's all types of words for what you call the cafeteria, but for everyone, it's the where you eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the first days in the military, you are trained and focused to eat very fast. Eat your food. You go by the time if you're talking, there's no time to talk. It's all about eating your food, doing what you need to do, and get on out. And don't take anything out of the cafeteria. That's a tip right there, a pro tip, if you will. Certainly don't get caught if you do that. But you will find that if you survive the first days of the military, and you will, just look at all the folks that have, and you always tell yourself, hey, if that person can make it, if the Gomer Pyles of the world can make it through the first days of the military, you certainly can too. So I'm sure that as you all experience and think about the challenges of joining the military, I think you're doing the right things. You're coming and you're researching. You're watching videos such as mine. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe as well. And you're also being prepared. And being prepared is going to help you a lot. So I would encourage you all who aren't in shape, because I certainly wasn't. When I first started, you want to do those things now to get your cardio up, your strength up. Do all of those things prior to your first days in the military, so that in your first days of the military, your life will certainly be much more or less stressful, if you will. But I can tell you, looking back, the first day is certainly something that will be memorable, that will help set the focus and the standard of the rest of your military career. So, and there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. This is the Adjutant, and I'll see you in the next one. I wish you all blessings and blessings. Shalom.